Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a snowblower engine. It's a BRIGGS engine. It is the 1450. Customer thinks this engine's blown up. It probably is. I do get a lot of these engines in the shop blown up. They're very delicate engines. So in this video today, I'm going to do an autopsy on this engine. We're going to figure out the cause of death and exactly what happened inside this engine. So first thing you want to do when an engine comes in your shop that the customer thinks is blown up is check the oil. Now oftentimes it could be clean. Customer may have added new oil. It's extremely clean in this one. It's actually overfilled, but having an overfilled engine will not blow it up. When I see clean oil like this, I always wonder, did they run it out of oil and then put oil in it after? But the customer's a good guy. I don't think it ran out of oil. He will be watching this video today actually, so he'll know exactly what's happened to his engine. When I pull this engine over, it's very easy to pull over. As easy as if there was no spark plug in it. Let's double check that. I always like to make sure that there is a spark plug. So there is a spark plug in there. You can see the top half is broken off, but it is screwed in the head, so that would give it the compression it needs. There's no resistance when I pull it over. There's the spark plug boot. So what I do before I tear down an engine is I just drain the oil first. So that's what I'll do now. And I've got a container under here, so I'll let this drain and then we can do the disassembly. So I'll just drain this into a bucket here. So I'll let this drain and come back. If you want your oil to drain quicker, sometimes you just loosen the oil cap and it helps. Okay, so what I start with is by removing the sump cover because that will tell you pretty well everything you need to know just from doing that. So I've got a 13mm socket here on my impact. She's on pretty tight. So there still might be a bit of oil that will leak out even though I drained it, so I'll just put a rag here. So I'll just tap this cover gently. Something's holding it back. Sometimes it's the rust here on the shaft. You know what it is? It's this right here. I forgot the small 5/16 bolt. It's actually the dipstick tube that is bolted that is holding the cover. And at this point, it's all that rust on the shaft. No doubt. Look, there's metal pieces on my hand here. Doesn't look good. Man, this one's tough. Okay, now here we go guys. We're going to see the real damage. So it doesn't look good. The camshaft came off its place from me pounding. The let's see how that looks. Maybe the camshaft is salvageable. The decompressor might still be working on that. Here's a close look at that. Very important to have the decompressor on there, or else these engines are really hard to turn over. Okay, look at all these pieces. There's the other push rod. The push rods do seem straight. They do bend easily on these engines, so I might save these. But if you look inside, you can see the connecting rod is all in pieces. Look at that. There's the bottom piece of the connecting rod. And the journal on the crankshaft, of course, is all scored. Here are the lifters. And here's the cylinder right inside here. So what I want to do now is I'm going to keep going on the teardown because I want to show you guys inside the cylinder. So I'll start right here. So a lot of parts will be salvageable off this engine. This is where the carburetor is. That's the choke knob. Now usually the fuel valve is not here, it's over here. Somebody put it here. This cover is all butchered, so I'm just cutting it out. I hate it when stuff is butchered. Okay, let's get this gas tank off. 10mm socket. 2 more bolts at the front. Torx T40 right here on the muffler bolts. Okay, there should be about 4 bolts holding the head on. Got to get this little bolt off. And then I can access the last head bolt here. Now, before I take the head right off, let's get the valve cover off. Now there is a 5th bolt here that holds the head. That's why I couldn't get it off. I should have known that because I do tear a lot of these engines apart. There we go. Now here's that cylinder. So as I turn the engine over, obviously the piston will not go up and down because the connecting rod's broke. I'm going to get the flywheel off, the whole recoil assembly here. It's a lot quicker with the impact, guys. Now I will save the coil here. Now I'm not using a puller today to get the flywheel off, so if you do like I'm doing it today with a hammer, make sure you use safety glasses. The reason I'm not using a puller is because that crankshaft will never be used again. What I'm going to do here is just hit it with a hammer. I will have a pry bar in between the engine and the flywheel to just give it a little nudge. Flywheel is still good, all the magnets are there, and the charging stator or the stator for the lights is good as well. And here's the crankshaft. One thing you can save when you do a teardown is this actual gear right here. This is worth saving, that gear. I will, however, have to sand the end of the shaft so that it slides right out. See, it's kind of stuck there because of the rust. But have a look at the journal of the crankshaft. This is typical. You'll get some scoring from all of this. I'm not sure what happened here. Did it run out of oil, or who knows, maybe over-revved. There is a way to fix this, I believe, with some kind of acid. Some guy did it on YouTube. There is a video on doing that. I don't often do it. Just never really had a need to do that because I've got a lot of spare good shafts without the journal all wrecked like that. But if you have a lathe, guys, you can save this steel to turn on your lathe and make stuff with it. So I'll put this aside. I will get that piston and rings out of the cylinder. I'm just going to push it into the engine. And it actually won't go in because I think the sleeve at the bottom is damaged. I will not be reusing this piston, that's for sure. Man, that's tight. That is tight, guys. It's usually not this hard to get a piston out. There we go. Part of the piston sleeve was already broken. So this is junk. You could probably use the rings, but I would not recommend it. If you do metal art, this is a good piece to save. And have a look inside the cylinder. There is a bit of scoring. Overall, it's not too bad. You could probably hone this down just a little bit, just slightly, and reuse that block. Maybe. Personally, I wouldn't do it. They're just such delicate engines. Personally, I don't really like these engines. If you do have one of these, make sure to change the oil regularly. If you have a really bad winter like we've had last year here in Muskoka, make sure to change the oil twice or 3 times on this engine. 5W30. You can use synthetic if you want. But anyway, this is what this engine's all about here. The starter can be saved, and with these, there's always the ground plug that breaks off, the little ground part of the plug, as you can see here. You could save the stator and these parts over here. There's the head gasket. And also save the tube here. These are handy for other engines as well. Alright guys, here's my analysis on this engine. Cause of death obviously is the connecting rod breaking into pieces. Now the actual cause of making that connecting rod break into pieces is left up to debate. It could be over revving, it could be lack of oil change, it could be lack of oil in the engine, etc. So a number of factors could have caused that. It's absolutely one of the 3. Also, another factor is the quality is not like the older Briggs and Stratton engine, so that adds another element there as to why this engine failed prematurely. The fact that I get a lot of these engines in the shop with the exact same problem leads me to believe that in this case it's not a lack of oil. It could be over revving or just poor quality parts, period. We all know where they're made, and I'm not putting the country that made these engines. It's just the quality is not what it used to be. If you have any comments on this, please comment below. They're all appreciated. Make sure you're subscribed, guys, and you can see me in my next video. Have a great day.